going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Happy Sunday. Can y'all hear me? Let me pull my mic up. How y'all doing? What's going on? Everybody, all right? Y'all, it's Sunday. Gotta get me and my oldest son ready for work tomorrow. Yeah, my baby's working. I'm so happy. What's going on? How y'all doing? Yeah, it's hot in the south. It's hot in my house. I'm just hot. How y'all doing? Listen, we got the goal to want to hit 50,000 subs by July 31st. Yeah, it's a tall order, but when you have people asking for 100 grand, I don't feel so bad. I don't feel bad about that at all because a sub and a like is free. So, no, I don't feel bad about saying, let's get to 50,000 subscribers by July 31st. I'm just saying, I'm asking for free stuff here. My Lord, who knew? You just ask for 100 grand and reasons, and that's it. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, it is hot. It is hot where I am. I am so sorry for being late. I just got through. Oh, I tried to tackle a lot today, doing laundry, cleaning up. Had to cook and trying to get, it's going on 5 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. So trying to get the kids just situated. My oldest son does have a little job for the summer. So trying to just get the house in order for the week. All those things that we have to do as parents. Laundry being that biggest thing of all. Mm-hmm. So kids cleaning up, taking out trash, all those things, all the chores that they hate doing because, teenagers. Then they appreciate as they get older when they have kids and they have their own place. I'm so glad my mama taught me how to cook and clean up. Yeah. Yep. It's not going to be like this forever. It's not going to be like this forever. How y'all doing? Everybody okay? Yeah, I was running on CPT time. My bad. Sorry for being a few minutes late. I was just about three good minutes late. My apologies for that, y'all. Who child? I gotta cut out a light. It's hot. This light here that I have is going to have to be enough because the other light that I have on me, that I usually have on, I feel the heat from the lamp, and I can't take it. I just can't take it. What's going on, Carolyn? Happy Sunday. What's going on, Skeeter? Saint, thank you so much. Thank you for holding it down. Shout out to all my moms, to all the members, to the supporters, to all of you who are subscribed here. We're trying to get to 50,000 subs. Yes, we are, because that's free to do. Subs, likes, let's keep these videos in the algorithm. Share them. Great information. I did go live last night. It was kind of impromptu. Touched on the shooting that occurred at the Savannah Mall, and then kind of went over the aspects of getting a protection order in place if you need to, because people are walking around here losing their minds. So it's hot. I'm drinking something cold. I mean, there's so much going on. Yeah, the case with the YouTuber shooting and killing the other YouTuber with his wife. That man is still in prison. He's still in prison. He hasn't even had his trial hearing yet. And turn around, shooting at a mall. Turn around, all these things that are happening. People need ways to protect themselves, and it starts by get a protection order if you have to. And it's putting everybody on alert. It's making everybody overly guarded and extra sensitive, but it's almost like, do we have a choice? We don't have a choice. So no one's in the mood for bullies and harassment and stalking and threatening behavior. No one's in the mood for that. No one's in the mood for it. And I personally, I've said my responses to this stuff is not going to be verbal in videos. It'll be the ones that you don't hear, but they'll be they will leave a resounding effect because no one has time for that. No one's in the mood for that crap. All right, so you guys make sure you check out. I did a video on how to do an FBI complaint, how to file a protection order, and the parameters. Make sure you are, if you're doing a protection order, looking at the laws in your state because those laws can vary. The requirements can vary. So you want to pay attention to when you are researching, making sure you're looking at the laws that is applicable to your state and where you live. And, just stay guarded. I mean, like I said, no one's in the mood for the nonsense. All right. Many blessings this Sunday. Absolutely. Heck yeah, it's hot and humid here. Yeah, I'm in Georgia. Ugh. We might as well be on fire right now. All right. And then I have heat flashes because that's not even, I don't even know, like, people just don't understand. Them heat flashes are no joke. Hormones are a very powerful thing in the body. God created us to be that way. Where certain things in the human body is just so powerful. You can't control it no matter how hard you try. Okay. Hormones being one of those things. Oh my God. So yeah. I have heat flashes too. It's the worst. It just kind of hits me like a ton of bricks. Oh man. What's going on, Skeeter and Mark? How y'all doing? How's your son doing? We're still praying for him and praying, healing and peace. And that's the thing too. We have people here in the LLC that are going through some things that are hurting. So last thing we need is the nonsense and buffoonery, right? Everybody speaking to everybody. Can I get everybody in? Yeah, it's $100,000. I mean, I'm asking for 50,000 subs. That's free. Not even for like money or anything. Just hit the like button and sub. And if you want to become a member, great. We have Wendy Williams full lawsuit. I'm gonna make sure that I record that separately, like I did with Fluffy Fat Joseph, and I will put that lawsuit in the members only channel so that you guys can have something to enjoy reading, I guess, as you fall asleep at night. And I think one of you guys asked me to take a look at Carnival Cruise. Were they sued? If that's his new boyfriend, Pissy Chrissy. A little diva up there in Harvey. Yeah. It's kind of hard to say that there's information out there when there's no information out there. Like, what are we calling facts here? Because opinions aren't facts. Let's see some documentation. Opinions are not facts. You just saying it's a fact doesn't make it a fact. That's not how that works. It's not how that works, people. All right. Mark saying hello, everyone. Hi to Mark. Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button and subscribe here. Share these videos. Post it up. Send it to Facebook, where I don't have Facebook, y'all. So post it up. 94 degrees here in Cleveland. He's a prison that was horrible. 106 degrees here. Good grief. Woo, child. Yep, Skeeter, I live on the border of hell and hell. Oh my God, private summer equals hot flashes. Oh my God, he hasn't been feeling well. I'm so sorry. No wind blowing. I am sorry to hear that, Skeeter. Like I said, I have supporters that are going through some real things, real problems, real issues, not stuff somebody created in their mind. No, real issues, real health issues, real problems. And so we are here praying and hoping for some healing and recovery. And if you need anything, just let me know. You're good with emailing me and letting me know and keeping me posted of things. So that's why I'm not the melee can kick rocks. I just I have supporters that are going through things. I have things going on in my personal life. There's so much going on to be more concerned with. Um, yeah, we need a good wind blow. Hey Jeff, how you doing? Hope your fourth was good. It was eventful. I didn't really do much of anything. No, no. LLC Carnival has done some policy changes that ghetto folks are saying is targeting them. Is it now? So they're not being sued. Okay. Exactly. All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get started in. Well, I mean, I'll check it out. I like going over some lawsuits and stuff like that. That would be awesome. But I definitely take a look at it and see what's happening here. I know I think Carolyn, didn't you request for Wendy Williams? I think you would have wanted to request for this Wendy Williams. And this lawsuit is something else. So just like I did with I'm trying to make sure. Let's see. Is this the one I want to share first? Yes. Okay. So we need to laugh. Yeah, we do need to laugh. We all need a good laugh here. I am gonna do the members only live this evening. We can finish up random news. That's a laugh. It's about as warm as Satan's toilet seat here. Oh my god, yes, that's so funny. Girl, it's a hot mess. Oh man. All right. I'm gonna take this banner down so I don't have it in the way. But you guys are making sure you please share this content. Let's get the channel growing and get this information out there. It's free to do. All right, moving on. So we're gonna kick this off with Wendy Williams. She was a talk show host, had been a radio host for some time, I do believe, and became a talk show host, and ended up being diagnosed with aphasia, frontotemporal dementia. So I'm just going to give some background information before we go into the lawsuit summary. I did do a summary on her lawsuit because lawsuit filed on her behalf is 122 pages, y'all. So what I'm going to do is the summary, and then I'm going to go to what the prayer for the relief is requesting in the actual lawsuit. I have all 122 pages of it, but I'm not going to read the whole lawsuit because it would take 1,000 years. But I am going to do the summary. I just did a summarizer with Adobe, and that summary is still 16 pages, but it's oh Lord. I think it'd be a lot faster to read with that than it would be for the lawsuit. That's 122 pages. So we'll go through kind of some background information on her diagnosis first, and then we'll get to the summary. So you guys make sure you're hitting the like button, and we're going to get to it because this is something else. This is something else. They said, which I believe is a lot. LC, she was drinking a lot back then, so it can present itself as an early onset dementia. Once she stopped drinking, you could clearly see her becoming clear-headed. Yeah, and I think there was some discrepancies with her diagnosis as far as her cognitive impairment, I think. But, alcohol definitely has an effect where it can erode, your liver cells. It has an effect on, of course, the brain, which could affect speech. Your body can only handle high levels of alcohol, but for so long, right? Before it starts to erode, various organs in the body. So it will affect over time cognitive impairment. But I'm just going to read the information here that I have pulled up. Wendy Williams, who has been vocal about having Graves' disease, lymphedema. She was diagnosed with aphasia, dementia last year after medical test. Her team says William is still able to do a lot, has kept sense of humor. Yeah, this article, I can't Okay, this came out February of last year, February 23rd to 24. This was last year. So I just wanted to kind of give an outline on her actual diagnosis first, go into that, and then go into the lawsuit. Let's see. Talk show host Wendy Williams has been diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontal temporal dementia. In a news release, they said people have asked questions about Williams' ability to process information, and many have speculated about Wendy's condition, particularly when she began to lose words, act erratically at times, and have difficulty understanding financial transactions. Although Williams had been open about having Graves' disease and lymphedema. It wasn't until 2023 when she underwent a battery of medical tests that she was given an official diagnosis of aphasia and dementia. So, if there is a chance that it has something to do with alcohol, I'm not seeing them point that out, but it's not hard to research and correlate, an extended use of alcohol leading to, you know, um, issues with cognitive impairment. All right, so let's move on. The decision to share this news was difficult and made after careful consideration, not only to advocate for understanding and compassion for Wendy, but to raise awareness about aphasia and frontotemporal dementia and support the thousands of others facing similar circumstances. Her team said in a statement, unfortunately, many individuals diagnosed with aphasia and frontotemporal dementia face stigma and misunderstanding, particularly when they begin to exhibit behavioral changes but have not yet received a diagnosis. So the NIA, National Institute of Aging, says frontotemporal disorders or frontotemporal dementia come from damage to neurons in the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain. Possible symptoms include unusual behaviors, emotional problems, trouble communicating, difficulty with work, or difficulty with walking. It is rare and tends to occur in people who are younger. Unlike other forms of dementia, about 60% of people with FTD are 45 to 64 years old. Aphasia is a disorder that can cause varying degrees of impairment in speech or understanding language. About 2 million Americans are affected. While it often results from stroke or brain injury, it can also develop over time because of brain tumors or progressive neurological disease. The team noted that not even through all this, Williams is still able to do many things herself. Most importantly, she maintains her trademark sense of humor and is receiving the care she requires to make sure she is protected and that her needs are addressed. The statement said she is appreciative of the many kind thoughts and good wishes being sent her way. So I definitely wanted to kind of um, just give some additional information on progressive aphasia. This is coming from Mayo Clinic. It is a rare neurological condition characterized by the gradual deterioration of language and communication skills. It primarily affects a person's ability to speak, read, write, and understand others, often leading to dementia over time. Symptoms typically develop slowly, often before the age of 65, and can include difficulty expressing thoughts, finding words, and understanding language. There are different types of progressive aphasia, including log- uh, logopenic, non-fluent, and semantic variants, each affecting language abilities in distinct ways. Diagnosis usually involves a thorough evaluation by a neurologist or neuropsychologist. So that kind of sets up the stage and understanding progressive aphasia. This is another article that I came across. So just so we know so far, I just wanted to give that medical background. Let's get some comments in. Yeah, Wendy Williams sounds like she's been through a lot. If you search YouTube for okay, hold on. Carnival Cruises, you can see how Carnival has become the Spirit Airlines of the seas. Oh, I'm sure. Oh man. Yeah, this like always, send me an email. I think you sent me an email on a couple things that I said I wanted to get to. I saw the video regarding the content creator who covered the Vegas shooting. So I would have to reach out to see if, they'll allow me to feature some of their video in that. Um, I also want to do an update on what's going on. I don't think the shooter had a hearing yet. He just had a bond hearing. Basically, he was denied bail and remanded. So I'm going to definitely look into what the updated status is on that. And then a couple other videos I want to get to. We started our series with Eligio Bishop and the Nature Boy cult. Yeah, that's gonna get wild, y'all. We're gonna keep doing those. uh let's see, is this? Girl, it's a hot mess. It's as hot as a hookah sitting on a bed of coals with gasoline draws on sporting VD. Oh, nice. Oh man. Shout out to my mods. I appreciate you all. Saint, Jeff, Skeeter Carolyn all in here. I have some awesome mods. Where's Laura? Y'all see her? Oh, did I see? Hold on. Hey, Shonda. How you doing? What's going on? Did I just scroll too fast? Hey, Miss Mandy Reeves. Hey, you okay? Oh, Miss Mandy Reacts. Y'all shout out to Miss Mandy Reacts. Please drop your YouTube channel link in the chat. As always, anybody that has YouTube channels, please put the link in the chat. How you doing, Miss Mandy? We've definitely been praying for you. This is what I mean. You have people going through real life issues here. You understand? I watched some stuff on this. It is so sad. Yeah. Hey Laura. There you go. Oh man. You okay? Miss Mandy Reacts? Oh man. It is good to see you here. It is good to see you here. Hopefully you're hanging in there. We're still praying for you as always. Miss Mandy Reacts has her own channel. And she's also, I don't know, are you still mod over at DWC at Dear Work Christian? I know you got a lot going on. Okay, let me scroll up because somebody's in the hospice. Am I missing something? The type of dementia is one of the worst. You would eventually forget to know how to talk and swallow. Wow. Oh, she sues the Wells Fargo advocate. Yeah, that is what took my mother, Skeeter. Shonda said, "Happy Sunday, LLC in chat. Happy Sunday to you." I'm sorry, Saint. She forgot how to turn right. She eventually stopped talking. Then she stopped swallowing and pretty much starved into transition. I'm so sorry, Saint. My grandmother passed due to progressive dementia, but hers was based on traumatic brain injury. She was in an abusive marriage for years and took a lot of, physical abuse and hits to the head. And when they did the MRI on my grandmother, she passed away in July of 2017. When they did the MRI a few years before she passed, they saw a lot of scar tissue around the brain. So that's kind of what led to her condition. I don't know if she would have experienced dementia had it not been for the physical abuse she endured for years. But it was one of the leading causes. So, as you all can tell, I don't take kindly to abuse of any form, physical, verbal, mental, emotional. I don't take kindly to it. And no one deserves to be put through that, especially when you're not paying my bills. It just need to be known. I don't have the temperament for it. That's why I refuse to go back and forth on it either. Mm-mm. Nope. I refuse to do that. The frontal lobe controls thinking. Yep. Uh, it's a hard process to watch, especially to someone you credit with giving you life. Exactly. My grandmother raised me, so I understand how you feel, Saint. I really do. Trust me, I do. And my grandmother passed away in a hospice as well. When she went, well, she went to a it was supposed to be a nursing home, like a rehab facility, but then the moment she landed there, it was like 3 months of just advanced progression, and then she just passed away. So I was not happy at all. I was very, very angry for a long time with a lot of people. Um, but yeah. So Saint said they did her dirty. I may not like her, but wrong is wrong. She doesn't deserve to have her life snatched from her, nor her fortune she worked hard for. Yeah, I never really kept up with Wendy Williams like that. So you know, I don't really have an opinion of her one way or the other. But I know anyone in this situation. You want to have people around you that you can trust, including relatives that you feel will help take care of, financial decisions and life decisions and those types of things. Having an advanced directive is crucial. I recommend everybody have a life insurance policy and some sort of medical advanced directive. So you get to dictate what you want done in the event you're not able to speak for yourself or you're incapacitated for any reason. Get those in place because, I think she was put into a conservatorship. That's the last thing you want when you have the money to get someone to take care of you, but the court overrides that and then orders a guardian over you, and you have no idea who this person is. You don't know much about them, and vice versa. They don't know much about you either. So that is part of this lawsuit. And just the fight to get her out of that, conservatorship. Um, and to get her out of the location she's in, from what I've been able to just read and research so far. And you guys, as we go through, these cases and stuff, I'm learning things myself because I'm reading, researching multiple things. So I just enjoy being able to kind of go into a deep dive and learn things as well, along with you all. Um, and that is the worst thing ever, to know you stuck somewhere, court ordered, or you have someone that's overseeing your affairs that's court ordered, and you can't even get out of that. It's like the court trying to tell you who you should be trusting with your life and your finances. Why? This is not what our judicial system is supposed to be doing here. So, when it goes wrong to the left and then you have the law behind it, yeah, that makes it even worse. Then you got to go to court and fight it. And you got somebody who doesn't know you at all, a judge, telling you, you know, what you can and can't do. It's ridiculous. When she probably could get family, somebody that she knows close, personal, to help her with this. But you got a court interfering. Court's not supposed to interfere with our lives. But it's crazy. Um, we did in the hospice, in home hospice care. She passed in her home, surrounded by family. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. My grandmother passed in that facility that her daughter put her in, and I can tell you, most of us were not happy about that. It was so far from me, and then I couldn't get out there like I wanted to because it was like an hour and a half drive. So yeah, man, it does suck. It does suck. Hey, girl. Everybody speaking to everybody. We're finally here. Everybody's here. Yes, thank you for putting your YouTube channel in. Please sub, thank you. And if you want Cash App real, hashtag Cash App is real Miss Mandy. There you go. All right. So we support each other here in the YouTube community. Those who truly care. We don't sit here and tear each other down. We have no reason to do that. You never know what people are going through. So you guys make sure you go check out Miss Mandy Reacts. And if you are able to donate, please do so. please do so. You're absolutely welcome. I just appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as well. I just followed you. Awesome. You guys make sure you go and subscribe. I just had another PET scan waiting on the results. All right, we're praying for you. We definitely are. LLC, I was a hospice nurse for 30 years. Where are you now? Yeah, man, that was my grandmother being there was such a horrible experience. But kudos to anyone that even in nursing in general. I mean, it's a hard job, but hospice nurse, I mean, you're basically taking care of people who are looking at the end of their life, right? And that is very difficult to do. So I definitely kudos to you. My hat goes off to you. Miss Manny, I'm on disability and have me on this expensive medication. This I cannot afford. It's insane. So I appreciate your prayers. Yes. And if you guys can donate to help Miss Mandy, please do so. I know times are tough for everybody, but if you have something you can donate. This is why I just laugh at the idea of somebody asking for $100,000 for a dumbass house, and you got people that can't afford medication. Jesus. People out here really going through some hardships. So let's try to help each other if we can. I just want 50,000 subs, y'all. I just want to get more supporters in here to help spread this great information out and create hopefully good dialogue and discussion as well. All right, everybody chatting, have a good time with everybody. That's good. That's what we all need. All right, so back to this article here. We have Wendy Williams, Guardian, and I'm just gonna zoom in on some of this if you guys can see it. Wendy Williams, Guardian, has filed a new complaint against multiple parties and entities involved in the creation of Lifetime's controversial documentary, Where is Wendy Williams? People magazine reports Guardian Sabrina Morrissey filed complaints against A&E Television Network, Lifetime Entertainment Services, E1 Productions, Creature Films, and executive producer Mark Ford for taking advantage of the talk show star. Williams, who remains under court order guardianship. Look at this. Why? Why? This is like a little breakdown here. Wendy Williams doc humiliated her for little profit. Complaint filed against makers of Where is Wendy Williams docuseries. I have not seen. Have y'all seen these series? Guardian Sabrina Morrissey show exploited, humiliated Williams. Alleges TV star only made 82,000 off series, while others made millions. She's always just had this big, bright, wide-eyed smile to me. This was back in 2020, February of 23. So she remains under court order. What is this show about? You have say, is it good? It sounds like it wasn't even worth it. From what's being stated in the article here. I mean, like I said, I don't keep up with Wendy Williams like that, so it will be hard for me to say if the show is good or not. I can't tell you if I've ever watched one of her talk shows, so I don't know if me watching the docuseries, I can't say it will be good or bad. Let's see. Absolutely, you can always come in for love and support. Absolutely. It wasn't very good. The show wasn't good. This show will make you angry. I did not see it. Sorry. Yeah, I haven't seen it, and I don't know much about Wendy Williams enough to be able to determine if it's a good show or not. But you guys are saying it's bad. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why we call it a present. So treat everyone as a gift and enjoy their presence. Absolutely, Jeff. Absolutely. Yes, Laura, my mom died where I worked. It was fast, 3 weeks until she died. Oh man, I'm so sorry. My daughter and I actually watched the series on Lifetime. It was interesting. We also used to watch her talk show. See, and that's the thing. I haven't seen her talk show, so it would be hard for me to like watch that series and know exactly what's going on. There you go. Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and you will be saved. Jesus Christ is our only Savior. Amen. There you go. Yeah, it would be hard for me to be able to look at that and say, "Oh, this is a good show or a bad show." I have no idea. But I hate the fact that she's under court order guardianship when she probably could just have someone like appointed to her. But she remains under court order guardianship after being diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, was highly vulnerable and clearly incapable of consenting to being filmed, much less humiliated and exploited, the court documents obtained by page 6 allege. The series showed an inebriated, incapacitated, and frequently incoherent portrayal of Williams, the product of brutally calculated, deliberate actions of powerful and cravenly opportunistic media companies working together with a producer to knowingly exploit her, according to the complaint. Just so I'm gonna scroll out so y'all can see these the photos here. That's a nice photo. I think I'm missing some words because it just says supervision for the rest of her life, and that's it. Then it gives a legal battle timeline here. Morrissey previously tried to stop the documentary from airing in February, but the effort failed. In March, a judge unsealed some of the documents in Morrissey's case. In those documents, Morrissey claims the series was made under false pretenses, including misleading contractual language like producer is and shall be the sole and exclusive owner throughout the universe and in perpetuity of the program. Wendy Williams legal battle timeline 2020. Williams displays concerning behavior on the set of the Wendy Williams show, including falling down, forgetting words, and freezing. 2021, a series of guest hosts fill in for Williams while she takes care of her health. At that point, it is only known she has Graves' disease and lymphedema. January 22, Williams talk show is canceled. February 22, Wells Fargo initiates guardianship proceedings. Morrissey is made guardian. June 22, allegedly unbeknownst to Morrissey, a company called the Wendy Experience was created by NYC-based law firm, the Baldonado Group. No one knows who the CEO is, as signatures are illegible. Doctors, attorneys, and judges have the worst signatures on earth, except my godmother. Y'all, my godmother's a federal judge, and her signature is beautiful. I actually show her as a part of court documents when I was going over that boy's case, his lawsuit from 2020, and she was the judge over it. Y'all can check out that video, the mysterious case with the twist at the end. But her signature is absolutely stunning. That's it. I don't know any physician, any attorney, or any other judge that has just clear, legible penmanship. None. It's like they don't even care. That signature might be a squiggly line, and that's it. And you're like, you have 14 vowels in your name, and this is how you're gonna sign it? Yeah. Oh my God. So I'm not shocked to see they were illegible. From August 22 to April 23, Williams films the docuseries. So she's in the docuseries? Is that what I'm hearing? She's in the docuseries. They made her look like a drunk, losing her mind, washed up celebrity. Wow. She was drunk. When she got sober, she was better. Yeah. I wasn't sure if she was drunk or if they were making it seem worse. Once she was sober, you could see her mind becoming clearer. So they had her in it, and she was just, or did they take clips of her being recorded and put it in the docuseries? Because it sounds weird. If you're only trying to film me while I'm drunk, or someone while they're drunk, I'm like, I would I wouldn't let anyone just do that. The only time you want to show up and record me is when you think I'm having a drink. Like that would be so weird. So did they take clips of her after she had a drink? She was in the docuseries. Oh wow. That's crazy. So she agreed to do the docuseries, but seems like they really want to hone in on her when she was inebriated. Okay. Uh Contract in November 22, contract for Where is Wendy Williams is drawn up between main production company Entertainment One and the Wendy Experience. The Wendy Experience being created by some law firm that no one knows who the CEO is because they won't sign their damn name. Got it. January 2nd, 23, contract executed. February 2nd, 23, contract amended. March 1, 23, contract amended again. May 23, Williams is diagnosed with aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. February 5th, 24, Good Morning America teases the Lifetime doc to Morrissey's shock and dismay. February 21, 24, Williams' aphasia and dementia diagnosis is shared with the media. February 25, 24, Where is Wendy Williams premieres on Lifetime. March 15, 24, Judge unseals exhibits. September 16, 24, Morrissey files a new complaint. So that's the timeline, you all. Now let's get to the notes. Oh, child. I don't know why the judge would unseal the documents, but it takes a minute to have a motion filed to the court to have a docket unsealed. And then it takes a hearing. So both parties should have been able to present argument to the judge as to why the judge should or should not unseal the docket. That's crazy. They said no grown woman should have to ask anyone if she can go to her own father's birthday celebration. Exactly. I remember when she passed out on her show, let alone with babysitters, when she was dressed like Lady Liberty. She also had a cocaine addict. Was she? Yeah, this is stuff I'm learning about Wendy Williams. Like I said, she's not someone I kept up with, or I didn't watch her shows or anything. So when I read this stuff, I'm indifferent to it because I personally can't say I know much about her or even her celebrity status profile or whatever. I don't know much about it. Okay, so here's where Adobe started, how they started the summary. All right. And I'm just going to read it, you guys, and then I'll show you all the full filing just so you all can see I have it. And then I'm going to upload the summary and the full filing to the members only page. Yay. All right. This document is a legal complaint filed by Wendy J. Williams Hunter and her next friend, Kelvin Hunter, against multiple defendants. I think Kelvin Hunter is her ex-husband, right? So Adobe AI thing couldn't get this right. They couldn't nail this. Yeah, this was generated using Adobe Acrobat AI assistant. So it didn't know this was her ex-husband. Oh God! First thing I read, and Adobe just couldn't get that right. And that husband, he sounded abusive. Was he? Why did they get divorced? I'm just curious to know because I don't know. But we know Kelvin Hunter is her ex-husband. And the lawsuit was filed against multiple defendants alleging abuse and improper guardianship under New York law. Let me go to the document because I want to show you all who's the plaintiffs, the petitioners versus the defendants. So as you all can see, here's the court filing, 122 pages. U.S. District Court, Southern District of New York. Isn't that where Letitia James is? Damn, Letitia James. This was filed on June 17th, 2025, y'all. So not even a whole month ago. So this is a recent filing. Wendy J. Williams Hunter, an individual by and through her next friend Kelvin Hunter, and Kelvin Hunter, an individual. And I thought that was her ex-husband. Is that not her ex-husband? Yes, ex. Thank you, Carolyn. And it's like, why do you keep saying friend? Doesn't this sound a lot like Britney Spears just saying, you know what? Britney Spears had to break out of a conservatorship. Hey, Natasha, how you doing? What's going on? Happy Sunday. He was cheating and has a daughter. What? He had another woman pregnant. Lord have mercy. You just did he have child someone there, Jeff? I know, right? How y'all doing? Hi, Natasha. How's it going? It's hot. Mama having heat flashes and stuff. It's just having a hard time. Oh man. So Kelvin Hunter is the ex-husband that got someone else pregnant. Man, dirty dog. Come on, bro. Dude. But so what is his, I'm gonna ask this. What is his intent with filing this lawsuit for her? I mean, is he truly doing it because he cares, or is he doing it because he wants something out of it? After all he put her through. That's what I'm curious to know here. So this is case number 125-CV. C is in cat, V is in Victor, -05107. And there is a demand for a jury trial. And I just kind of want to show the plaintiffs and defendants here. We're gonna go back to the summary though. since I'm able to see now that the actual filing says her next friend. I mean, come on, man. Okay, so they're alleging abuse and improper guardianship under New York law, guardianship and its impact on autonomy. Guardianship can lead to a significant loss of personal autonomy, depriving individuals of their rights to make decisions about their lives. The case of Wendy J. Williams Hunter highlights the systemic issues within New York's guardianship system, where many individuals face abuse and neglect under court-appointed guardians. Guardianship is described as a civil death, stripping individuals of decision-making rights. Over 28,000 adults in New York are reportedly abused and neglected under guardianship. Ms. Hunter's guardianship is characterized as improper and overreaching, lacking necessary legal protections. The plaintiffs aim to advocate for Ms. Hunter and others. They're still calling her by her married name. Okay, but they're divorced, right? They're absolutely divorced, correct? He wants her money. It's starting to look like that. Yeah, it's starting to look like that. 122 pages. He took time after cheating on her, getting someone pregnant, to file this lawsuit. With her listed, but he's doing it on her behalf. They stopped paying Wendy's alimony to him. This makes sense now. Okay, gotcha. So he's like, oh, so y'all not gonna pay me alimony? Oh, okay. Yeah, go get a job. This is crazy. He lost all rights to spousal support once Wendy lost her show. Yeah, all right. I see why he's doing this. Okay. And it's not like hard to think that, especially how he handled himself in this marriage, where he had an opportunity to do the right thing. Like, no one owes you anything when you're cheating and getting other people pregnant. Go to hell. All right. The guardianship proceedings involving Ms. Hunter lacked essential procedural rights and protections, leading to a secretive and unjust imposition of guardianship. Ms. Hunter did not receive an independent medical evaluation or timely notice of hearings. The guardianship was imposed without adequate legal representation, violating her due process rights. So she never even got a hearing on this guardianship thing. The court just did it. Yeah, it should be repealed based on that alone. You don't get to violate constitutional rights when it comes to due process here. Defendants are accused of maintaining conditions that unlawfully restrain Ms. Hunter's civil liberties. The plaintiffs argue that the guardianship was established in a secretive manner, lacking transparency and oversight. I mean, the judge did unseal a docket without there being a hearing on whether the document should have been unsealed. What is going on with that, judge? That is not how we do, judge. Defendants' indifference and abuse. The defendants are alleged to have shown deliberate indifference to Ms. Hunter's rights, engaging in actions that constitute abuse and exploitation. Defendants ignored medical advice regarding Ms. Hunter's mental capacity and allowed over-medication. Good Lord. Despite passing a competency evaluation, which is good, no action was taken to revoke the guardianship. What the hell is going on with this court? Who's the judge? Because this sucks. So she had a competency evaluation done, and then the court still want to sit and force her to have a guardianship after not giving her a hearing on the guardianship itself. Are you kidding? This judge sucks. Someone must have paid that judge. You know where in the hell? That judge sucks. I'm trying to see. I'm looking at the original document, the complaint itself, trying to see if I can find the judge's name real quick. But no, it'll show up. Plus, I'm gonna post this up on the members only channel so you guys will be able to see it either way. But nah, the judge is full of crap right now. The guardianship is described as a weapon used to punish rather than protect Ms. Hunter. Plaintiffs seek justice for ongoing harm and violations of Ms. Hunter's rights. Legal framework, work, and jurisdiction. The lawsuit is grounded in various legal frameworks, including civil rights violations and federal laws, asserting jurisdiction in the Southern District of New York. The court has subject matter jurisdiction under 28 U.S.C. Statute 1331 for civil rights violations and other federal laws. There is complete diversity of citizenship between the plaintiffs and defendants, exceeding the $75,000 threshold for jurisdiction. The plaintiffs seek redress for constitutional violations and related state law claims. The case does not seek to overturn state court rulings, but challenges independent constitutional violations, such as the lack of due process. That's what that means. So you have the constitutional right to have a hearing and to have due process with the hearing, right? When you ignore the rights of others, this is what happens. Especially if she had a mental evaluation done where she was deemed competent by a licensed physician. So she should have had the opportunity to have a hearing on whether or not she needed a guardianship and whether or not this law firm, whoever got the judge to unseal court documents. They were sealed for a reason. Call for judicial intervention and relief. The plaintiffs are calling for judicial intervention to address the ongoing harm and seek relief from the guardianship imposed on Ms. Hunter. Basically, it's saying the plaintiffs are filing a lawsuit asking the court to grant relief. They request declaratory, injunctive, and compensatory relief for violations of constitutional rights. The plaintiffs emphasize the need for intervention to prevent further financial, physical, and emotional harm. The complaint includes detailed allegations to demonstrate the systemic abuse of process and deprivation of rights. The plaintiffs argue that the guardianship proceedings lack adequate procedural safeguards and are closed to meaningful oversight. Plaintiffs and their claims. The plaintiffs, Ms. Hunter and Mr. Hunter, are challenging the constitutionality of a guardianship imposed on Ms. Hunter, claiming it was initiated unlawfully and without due process. Mr. Hunter, as an interested party, seeks to advocate for Ms. Hunter's rights and address the emotional and financial harm caused by the guardianship. See, if he's doing this with false intentions, though, and he's trying to get some sort of financial benefit, the defense is going to wear that shit to the ground. That's why I ask, is he doing this with good intentions? Because the defense will know that, and they're going to play on that. They're going to say, oh, Your Honor, he's only doing this because his ass is not getting any alimony and spousal support anymore. He's not getting anything out of it. Why else would he invest in even trying to file this lawsuit on her behalf this year when it probably should have been filed in 2023? When the judge decided to unseal a court docket or to put her into the guardianship of an attorney or to order her a guardian, why didn't he file the lawsuit back then, back in 23 or 24? That's the question that the defense is going to ask him if he gets cross-examined. If this goes to trial, it'll be a jury trial because there's a jury trial demand, but they're going to tear his ass up. While all of a sudden you wait to June of 2025, knowing all of this had been going on since 2022. You could have filed a lawsuit back then. What the hell are you doing? What took you so long? This is crazy. Well, man, y'all keep the dialogue going in the comments, man. This is something else. Now, can someone expect, did this go the exact same way for Britney Spears? Because if not, they're going to have, or if it did, they're going to have a case to kind of refer to show these celebrities are being forced to have guardians for reasons, all because, they're being human. They had some health issues, mental health issues, and a judge in the court of law decided to invoke themselves into somebody's personal life without giving that person the opportunity to assign their own guardian if they felt they needed it. Now, there are times where you might need someone to kind of look out for you and to try to reel you back in. But when it comes down to the court saying you need a guardian, okay, there should be a long laundry list of requirements to determine that. But it certainly should not occur without the plaintiff being a part of the court proceedings and having due process. If you're not even going to have a hearing, if a judge says Lady Luck Club needs a guardian, for what? What do you mean I need a guardian? What the hell's happening here? And your response is going to be, everything you say after that is going to make it seem as if, you're crazy and you're out of your mind. But it's like, no one asked me if I needed a guardianship to begin with. What the hell are we doing? So they'll at least have another case to kind of refer to show this has happened before, and the courts keep doing this. Saint said Britney should have had more money than she did when she came out of conservatorship. Britney's dad siphoned her money. Oh yeah, that sounds about right. Like she should have had at least 100 million more than she did. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, her case is going to be one, I'm sure, where they're going to reference it to show, this is what a conservatorship and the court ordering a guardian can do and how it affects finances. You're ordering someone to be a guardian over someone that they don't even know personally. And the court can't just dictate that this person is going to go in with the right intentions. And if you can prove that this dumb court and dumb judge ordered me to have a guardian that came in and actually took my money, now that falls back on that court and that judge. Because you've caused this financial harm to me, making these boneheaded decisions where I was not even a part of the actual hearing, where I was denied due process. So, I mean, to me, that should be criminally charged when you're doing something like that as a judge. That's my feeling on it. That's my opinion. All right. Okay, so I want to make sure I ain't lose my spot. Mr. Hunter is an interested party, seeks to advocate for Ms. Hunter's rights, address emotional and financial harm caused by the guardianship. Mrs. Hunter is a media figure and entrepreneur currently under a plenary guardianship in New York. Mr. Hunter, her ex-husband, claims direct injury due to the guardianship's impact on their son, Kevin Hunter. How old is Kevin Hunter? If he's not a minor, I'm going to have a problem. He better be a minor. Because otherwise, if he's not a minor, then Mr. Hunter can kick rocks. I'm just saying. and he probably should get a job. Mr. Hunter asserts that he has standing to bring this action as Ms. Hunter is unable to advocate for herself. Is he truly doing this because he's looking out for her? Or he just trying to get some money to help take care of their son? And is the son a dependent? Was she ever ordered to pay child support? He is not a minor. Hey, Sharon, how you doing? What's going on? We're talking about Wendy Williams. He grown. Are you kidding? He just graduated college. Okay, so he's an adult. he's an adult. All right, so what the hell? If he goes in there talking about financial, now mind you all, the ex-husband just filed this on June 17th of this year, after his son would have graduated from college. So it's not like he can go in there and say, well, Your Honor, I need some help with my son for tuition fees and all this other stuff, when now he's an adult. He's not a dependent. He's not a minor. You can't even go in there and ask for help to pay for tuition because he no longer has it. They're gonna kill his ass on cross exam. Oh my God. They're gonna tear his ass up. Are you kidding me? Oh man, come on. So he thinks he has some standing, I guess. I don't know. The guardianship is challenged as unconstitutional and unlawful, which to that extent I agree. She didn't have a hearing, and the case, the judge unsealed the docket without her having a hearing on that as well. So she should have had 2 hearings. It's called due process. I mean, this is why you do things the right way, because if you don't, even if her ex is acting with some sort of ill intent, the court could at least say, well, we gave due process. She had hearings, but they can't even say that. So, it's a fair argument to make, but we can clearly see now it seems like he's doing this because he's trying to get some money, and he knows that he's not going to get anything with her having a guardian appointed. Oh, what an asshole he's been. If that's why he's doing it, he's an asshole. The guardianship is challenged as unconstitutional and unlawful, with claims of neglect and malfeasance by the court-appointed guardian. Defendants involved in the case. The case involves multiple defendants, including individuals and organizations accused of participating in the unlawful guardianship and financial exploitation of Ms. Hunter. Each defendant is alleged to have played a role in the initiation and maintenance of the guardianship. Key defendants include Sabrina Morrissey, guardian, Wells Fargo initiated guardianship, and Lori Schiller, financial advisor. Other defendants include law firms and attorneys involved in the guardianship proceedings, such as Bressler, Amory, and Ross, and Abrams Finsterman. The defendants are accused of colluding to exploit Ms. Hunter's financial resources and suppress her rights. Initiation of the guardianship proceedings. The guardianship proceedings were initiated by Wells Fargo, which froze Ms. Hunter's accounts without notice, leading to a series of events that culminated in a guardianship petition. The actions taken by Wells Fargo and its agents are described as fraudulent and lacking proper medical jurisdiction. Okay. Wells Fargo froze Ms. Hunter's accounts on January 18, 2022 without prior notice. Dr. Rami Kaminsky authored a medical opinion letter used to justify the guardianship, which lacked proper evaluation. The guardianship petition was filed without consulting Ms. Hunter's other healthcare providers who had not raised concerns about her capacity. So the healthcare providers had not raised any concerns about her. I'm assuming they meant to say mental capacity here. The petition relied heavily on the Kaminsky letter, one letter, which was deemed fabricated and unsupported by evidence. Who deemed that? Dr. Rami Kaminsky authored a medical opinion letter used to justify the guardianship, which lacked proper evaluation. Wow. And then considering the fact that she did get an actual competency exam that she passed, yeah, one could understand the issue that Dr. Kaminsky's letter was some bullshit. Because she went and had a mental evaluation done. and she was deemed competent. She passed the evaluation. Y'all, this is crazy. Suppression of legal representation. Ms. Hunter's right to legal representation was effectively suppressed during the guardianship proceedings, denying her ability to contest the guardianship. The court barred her retained counsel from participating, which violated her rights. Judge Lisa Sokoloff barred Ms. Hunter's retained counsel from representing her without a proper hearing. This judge sucks, y'all. Lord have mercy. See, these weird, corrupt judges. Judge Sokoloff, you suck. You barred her counsel without proper hearing. Oh, man. And then unsealed the docket. This suppression prevented Ms. Hunter from contesting the guardianship or asserting her legal rights. The actions of the court and other defendants resulted in ineffective assistance of counsel for Ms. Hunter. And the judge knows it. It's the thought of barring the attorney without legal justification can get you effed up. I hope that judge was reported to. And here in Georgia, we have what's called the Judicial Qualifications Commission. I don't know exactly what the name of the agency is up in New York, but every state has something similar to that where they investigate, inappropriate conduct and behavior of judges. And she definitely needs to have a complaint filed against her. Period. This judge needs to be investigated. You do not unseal a court docket without a hearing. That is just, you know how difficult that is to have a docket sealed? And for a judge to just say, all right, I'm just going to unseal it. And you don't even give the defendant who the docket is pertaining to the right to have a hearing on that? Mind-boggling. The actions of the court and other defendants resulted in ineffective assistance of counsel, financial exploitation, and mismanagement. The defendants are accused of misappropriating Ms. Hunter's funds and failing to manage her financial obligations properly. This financial exploitation has led to significant harm to Ms. Hunter and her family. Ms. Hunter funded her own guardianship proceedings through unauthorized payments made by Lori Schiller and Bernie Young. Bernie Young misused Ms. Hunter's funds for unauthorized expenses, including legal fees for the guardianship petition. Sabrina Morrissey failed to make timely payments on Ms. Hunter's obligations, leading to tax liabilities and financial distress. Targeted harm to Ms. Hunter's family. The guardianship proceedings have had a detrimental impact on Ms. Hunter's family, particularly her son, Kevin Hunter. The defendants engaged in actions that alienated Kevin from his mother and disrupted their relationship. Kevin Hunter was cut off from financial support. Here we go. Yeah. Kevin Hunter was cut off from financial support and communication with his mother due to the guardianship. The actions of the defendants led to Kevin's eviction from his residence, causing emotional distress and disruption to education. Now, I will say this. If you have, I don't know what their custody agreement was. It sounds like she was paying alimony. She probably was paying child support as well. But even if he was over the age of 18, and I know in the state of Georgia, you're still considered a dependent if you're going to college full time. The parents will still be responsible for splitting whatever the educational costs, however the court deems it. Or, the parents could just co-parent and reach an agreement. But even though he was not a minor, he would have still been considered a dependent. Now, as far as he was evicted and all of that, at this point, the court would say, well, he's not a minor. He's not a dependent. He's graduated from college. He's going to have to get a job and pay his rent. I mean, that they'll probably go back and look at what happened while he was in school, considered a dependent, and maybe do some sort of back pay with that. But if his housing was not directly sponsored through or directly related to his education, They'll look at it as, okay, you probably lived on your own, but you probably could have stayed on campus. Now that would be different. If he stayed on campus and then let's say he got evicted off of campus and he was no longer able to go to school because of his disconnect from her financial resources. And there was an agreement for her to pay for his education or to pay X amount of dollars towards it or a percentage of it. That's one thing, because you're living, on school campus. The housing is predicated on you being enrolled in school, and there's an agreement between the parents for X amount of dollars from each parent to go towards his education as a legal dependent. But if he's living, on his own and he has an apartment somewhere, the education is what the court will still order them to pay as long as he's enrolled in school full time. Not him going out and just going to get an apartment somewhere when the court is going to be like, well, couldn't he not have stayed on campus? They're going to take a look at that. I'm just being honest. So that's going to be a little fickle right there. I'm sure he's going to go in and say, listen, I got evicted. And the court is going to ask, okay, well, did you have a job? I mean, it sounds like you couldn't afford to stay in this apartment. Why not just stay somewhere where you could have housing funded by, the school or some sort of, campus housing of some sort. Considering the fact that, your mom had a guardianship, you were disconnected from her financially. They're going to ask him, why didn't you downgrade? Why didn't you just go move on campus? Obviously, you could not afford to maintain your own apartment. And this is just me from what I'm reading. Maybe he was staying on campus. I don't know. So considering the fact that this happened while he was disconnected while he was still enrolled to school. So that means at that time, he still would have been considered a legal dependent. But the housing situation, if it's not like housing, like campus housing, it's going to be hard for a judge to say, okay, we'll go ahead and back pay you on that. And the rent is, the eviction and all of that, was the responsibility of your mother. Because, I mean, I had my own place when I was in college. Was my parents responsible for me going out and getting an apartment? No. Did they try to help? Yes. But were they legally responsible? No. Kevin is 24. Lord. Yeah, now he's on his own. And the court will tell him that. What was the consensus of Wendy's diagnosis medically that this shit show unfolded? It's still the aphasia and hold on. It's still the aphasia and the dementia. So that's what the documents, everything has said so far. Now the thing is, she's had a psych eval done since then, and she stated that she passed the psych eval or the mental health evaluation to determine her mental capabilities and being able to make decisions on her own. So the results did not show that she had any cognitive impairment. But I think the medical diagnosis that started out with Graves' disease and is now a form of dementia along with aphasia, I don't think that's changed, because those are like physiological disorders, like health issues. But the mental impairment, the the mental health evaluation rendered that she's capable of, she passed. She has she's cognitively capable of taking, making decisions and things of that nature. So this is so crazy. You can be directed to pay child support for a child through college. Exactly. That's what I was saying, Skeeter. But since he's graduated now, that's why I said they're more than likely go back and do a retroactive back pay for school, for the education, tuition, those types of things, cost of living. I don't know if it would just be directly an apartment versus maybe like campus housing. If he was staying on campus, let's say, because his mother's finances was cut off, then he ended up being kicked out of school and campus housing. That's one thing. I'm not sure how the judge will see it if it's just him going out getting an apartment, especially if it costs a lot of money, right? Because then they're gonna be like, "Well, couldn't you have lived somewhere cheaper?" I'm just going on based on what I've seen and heard in other cases, in other scenarios. But yeah, the apartment her son was in, she was trying to buy it, and that lady would not let her. Oh, okay, okay. His own place was due to who his mother is, i.e., security and privacy for her son. Yeah. So when was that the interview? When was that interview? Hold on. I missed it. Who initiated this guardianship in the first place? A bunch of attorneys. It wasn't a Baker's Act. It was a group of attorneys. These attorneys that came in based on a letter from Dr. Rami Kaminsky that lacked proper evaluation. He gave a medical opinion. They took that to court to get guardianship proceedings going. And that's what this weird ass judge went on. Nothing else, just that. What's her name? Judge Sokoloff. I just saw it. What's going on? Judge Lisa Sokoloff. Yeah. And barred her counsel. So if the apartment for the son was something that the mother wanted, especially while he was considered a dependent, then yeah, I mean, if they go ahead and just release her funds back to her, she'll probably go back and pay for it anyway. So I don't understand what the whole mess of this is. The fact that they took a letter and they went to court and started a guardianship proceedings on her, as if someone told them to do that. And they got the judge to just skip out on letting her be present with her own attorney in the courtroom and allowing her to have a court proceeding. And they just assigned her guardianship. Craziest thing ever. Craziest thing ever. All on the letter that was not substantiated. Oh my God. All right, y'all. I'm going to keep reading. I'm on page 6, so I'm just going to read through this for the sake of brevity. Okay. So Ms. Hunter funded her own guardianship proceedings through unauthorized payments made by Lori Schiller and Bernie Young. Bernie Young misused Ms. Hunter's funds for unauthorized expenses, including legal fees for the guardianship petition. Sabrina Morrissey failed to make timely payments on Ms. Hunter's obligations, leading to tax liabilities and financial distress, targeted harm to Ms. Hunter's family. The guardianship proceedings have had a detrimental impact on Ms. Hunter's family, particularly her son Kevin. Defendants engaged in actions that alienated Kevin from his mother and disrupted their relationship. Kevin Hunter was cut off from financial support and communication with his mother due to the guardianship. The actions of the defendants led to Kevin's eviction from his residence, causing emotional distress and disruption to his education, which is what I was speaking of regarding the eviction. Since he was still a dependent at the time that this occurred in 22 and 2023, more than likely they're going to be asking the court to grant back money from the defendants to cover whatever the educational cost was that she would have paid if they would have left her alone. But this is part of the relief that they're seeking from all of the defendants. So if the judge grants her relief, it won't even come out of her pocket. It'll come out of the defendant's pockets for meddling in her business. Yeah, this is something else, man. There's no worse than a court of law trying to tell you how you should live your life. Oh, God. The actions of defendants led to Kevin's eviction. Blah blah. Okay, defendants vilified Kevin, further eroding the trust and relationship between him and Miss Hunter. Judicial overreach and bias. Here we go. The actions of the judges involved in the guardianship proceedings are characterized by judicial overreach and bias, undermining the integrity of the legal process. The plaintiffs argue that the judges acted outside their jurisdiction and with prejudice against Ms. Hunter. Judge Lisa Sokoloff is accused of suspending Ms. Hunter's valid power of attorney without jurisdictional authority. The judges involved failed to provide adequate notice or opportunity for Ms. Hunter to contest actions taken against her, which is true. They didn't give her hearings and they denied her due process. There are allegations of bias due to political contributions made to Judge Sokoloff's campaign by defendants involved in the case. Oh, wow. So the attorneys contributed to Judge Sokoloff being elected to be the judge. Got it. Continuing harm and unlawful confinement. Ms. Hunter remains confined under the guardianship despite evidence of her capacity and ongoing violations of her rights. The plaintiffs seek relief for the continued deprivation of Ms. Hunter's liberty and autonomy. Ms. Hunter is confined at Coterie. Am I saying it right? Coterie, facing restrictions on her freedom and communication. Recent medical evaluations have indicated that Ms. Hunter is competent, yet the guardianship persists. Yes, she had the, evaluation done and was deemed to, be to not have any competent impairments whatsoever. So I don't even know how the other doctor got that letter, that medical opinion through. That means that doctor should have had his license revoked because he lied like hell. Flat out. I will definitely be seeking for that doctor to lose their license. Yeah, you lying like hell. The plaintiffs seek declaratory relief and damages for the ongoing harm caused by the defendant's actions. First Amendment and 14th Amendment violations. Here we go. The text outlines allegations against various defendants for infringing upon Ms. Hunter's constitutional rights, particularly her freedom of speech and access to legal counsel. The defendants are accused of imposing restrictions that silenced Ms. Hunter and obstructed her ability to challenge her guardianship. Defendants restricted Ms. Hunter's free speech and access to courts. Ms. Hunter faced harassment and threats from Judge Sokoloff and Sabrina Morrissey. Prior restraints on Ms. Hunter's speech were imposed without justification. Retaliation occurred against Ms. Hunter and her family for asserting legal rights. Defendants' actions chilled Ms. Hunter's exercise of First Amendment rights and 14th Amendment as well, because you have the right to due process. The judge sucks. They need to file a complaint against the judge. Period. Maybe it's called JQC up there as well. I don't know. But whatever the agency that investigates judges' misconduct, they need to file one against Judge Sokoloff. You'll learn. You'll learn, girl. You'll learn, Judge. Access to courts and legal representation. This section discusses the denial of Ms. Hunter's access to legal representation and the courts, highlighting the actions of various defendants and obstructed her ability to challenge her guardianship. The defendants are accused of failing to uphold due process. There we go. And engaging in misconduct. Judge Adam Silvera sealed Ms. Hunter's emergency petition without a hearing. Philip Solomon failed to investigate claims regarding Ms. Hunter's capacity. Defendants obstructed Ms. Hunter's access to legal counsel and court filings. Ms. Hunter was denied the ability to challenge her confinement or seek restoration of capacity. The actions of the defendants resulted in significant damages to Ms. Hunter. Unlawful isolation and family association rights. The text details how Ms. Hunter was unlawfully isolated from her family and friends, violating her rights to familial association. The defendants are accused of using isolation as a means to control Ms. Hunter and suppress her voice. What is this Coterie place? Is that a nursing home? Jeff, I think they drugged her. They probably did. I think she did mention how they kept her drugged up a lot. They all banded against Wendy to basically legally through the law drain her of all her money. Yeah, money is the root of all evil. This woman was isolated. Do you know how hard it is to even comprehend the idea of being confined somewhere in a facility where you can be drugged up and medicated and you have no one to talk to. You can't use a phone. You can't see your family, your children. Can you imagine that? That does so much damage to just the mental and emotional aspect of that. Psychologically, it's damaging on its own. Like it's just hard. It's like the people who died during COVID in the hospitals alone in isolation. That was the hardest part. That a lot of family members said it was just their family, knowing that their family members died without anyone by their side. Crazy. Oh man. Sabrina Morrissey placed Miss Hunter in Coterie. I'm just gonna say Coterie. Without medical necessity. Miss Hunter was subjected to 24/7 surveillance and restricted from leaving the facility. Family and friends were denied visitation and communication with Miss Hunter. What kind of shit is that? What kind of shit is this? How do you put someone in a facility and then you deny visitation and communication based on a letter from some doctor that was not substantiated, especially when an evaluation was done and she was not deemed to be cognitively impaired? Was not deemed to be cognitively impaired. Now she's still in a facility being denied family and friends visitation and communication. That is so cruel and unusual punishment that it's just disgusting that the courts think it's okay to continue this. All of those judges need to be reported, and the attorneys. They need to. A lot of people need to lose a lot of bar licenses up there. This is insanity. The isolation was part of a scheme to suppress Miss Hunter's voice and control her assets. Defendants' actions violated Miss Hunter's rights under New York's guardianship law, discrimination under the Americans with Disabilities Act. So the physical conditions that she has is still there. All right. It's the mental capacity that has been evaluated and is being challenged because the doctor did not deem her to be cognitively impaired, but the actual physical condition of the aphasia and the type of dementia that she has is still there. So that those physical disabilities would deem her eligible to be considered a disabled person under ADA. So hopefully that makes sense. This section addresses the discrimination Ms. Hunter faced under the Americans with Disability Act, ADA, and the Rehabilitation Act. The defendants are accused of failing to provide reasonable accommodations, unlawfully imposing a guardianship. Yeah, because everybody that has some sort of a disability does not mean that they're automatically supposed to just be assigned a guardianship and thrown into a facility with no contact or communication or visitation from family and friends. That's not how that works. Ms. Hunter is a qualified individual with a perceived disability under the ADA. Defendants failed to provide reasonable accommodations and engaged in discriminatory practices. Ms. Hunter was subjected to a plenary guardianship without due process. That just kills me. The defendants relied on false representations regarding Ms. Hunter's mental capacity. Ms. Hunter was denied rehabilitative services and meaningful interactions with others. Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act. RICO claims. Wow, they're going there. The text outlines allegations of racketeering against the defendants, asserting that they engaged in a coordinated scheme to exploit Ms. Hunter financially and control her assets. The defendants are accused of committing multiple predicate acts under RICO. Good Lord. Defendants engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity, including wire and mail fraud. The enterprise aimed to financially exploit and isolate Ms. Hunter. Various individuals and entities participated in the scheme for personal gain. Predicate acts included obstruction of justice, financial exploitation, and witness tampering. Plaintiffs seek treble damages and attorney's fees under RICO. Malfeasance and violations of financial regulations. Now, I'm going to tell you all this right now. This RICO is going to be something else. even if the and this is just to be impartial with this, even if the parameters are met for RICO itself, we've all seen this happen with P. Diddy now, where, in New York, he was investigated and charged with conspiracy of RICO and then found not guilty. So it's going to be curious to see how this plays out when it comes to RICO charges now, or RICO claims, because this is a federal lawsuit. It's still a civil procedure. But it's going to be, interesting to see how this plays out in a civil procedure in the same state of New York when it comes to RICO claims. It's going to be very interesting to see this play out in court. Very interesting. Malfeasance and violations of financial regulations. This section discusses the malfeasance committed by Wells Fargo and Amex, highlighting their violations of the Truth in Lending Act, TILA, and other financial regulations. The defendants are accused of mishandling Ms. Hunter's financial accounts. Wells Fargo sucks. Don't ever get anything through them ever. They inflate their percentage rates. They're the worst. They're the worst. And they're also racist. The end. I said it. Wells Fargo violated TILA by allowing unauthorized use of Ms. Hunter's Amex card. Wow. The bank failed to investigate and reverse disputed transactions. Wells Fargo froze Ms. Hunter's accounts without legal justification. Amex unlawfully restricted Ms. Hunter's access to credit cards, access to her credit accounts. Plaintiffs seek damages for financial losses and emotional distress, constructive fraud, and breach of fiduciary duty. This text outlines allegations of constructive fraud against the defendants, emphasizing their breach of fiduciary duties owed to Ms. Hunter. The defendants are accused of deceiving Ms. Hunter and the court regarding her capacity and the necessity of guardianship. Defendants held positions of trust and engaged in deceptive actions. Sabrina Morrissey misrepresented facts to the court regarding Ms. Hunter's condition. She did, because Wendy Williams did a competency evaluation and she was not deemed incompetent. She passed. So, she can get 100 more evaluations done by 100 more credible doctors. And if the facts line up to where she still passes, she's going to pass every single time. Because the parameters to which you're deemed to be incompetent, you have to have certain criteria checked off. So more than likely, they'll make her get another one. And then they'll have that expert come in and testify to her evaluation results. And that's if it goes to trial. I literally can foresee this being some sort of settlement, because they have a lot of defendants named. So this is something, especially with the denial of due process, with having court hearings, the judge and the courts acting dumb, like they don't know how to give someone a hearing. They don't have the authority to violate due process at all. That's why you get an attorney to represent you. So this is going to be an interesting case to see unfold. I didn't keep up with Britney Spears, but I can imagine that this is going to be just as cumbersome. But hopefully it won't take as long, and they have something to kind of rely on, to kind of look at, to show some sort of historical context with Britney Spears' case. And I know that case probably didn't have a laundry list of defendants if it was her father, but this one does. They have a lot of defendants named in this. So hopefully these defendants understand, like, do we really want to go through all of that and then have a trial at the end, or do we just want to go ahead and settle? So a good judge would tell them to settle. So, let's see. And if they can't settle, then they have the jury trial. Wells Fargo and Lori Schiller failed to disclose the true basis for freezing accounts. They didn't have one. Vernon Young misused his relationship with Ms. Hunter for personal gain. Plaintiffs seek relief for the harm caused by the defendants' actions. Allegations of civil conspiracy against defendants. The plaintiffs allege that various defendants conspired to deprive Ms. Hunter of her rights, including due process and access to her property. This would be one of the easiest allegations to prove. The fact that she did not have due process, she didn't have any court hearings, or any notifications of such. The judge barred her own counsel. Yeah, this would be one of the easier ones to prove. And if the judge truly did not have the intent on doing that, then the judge should have allowed and permitted her attorney to represent her, and to allow her attorney to represent her in court and give her due process. And why was the case unsealed again? Stuff like that is got them effed up. This conspiracy involved false court filings, blocking legal representation, and financial exploitation. Defendants conspired to deprive Ms. Hunter of her rights. They submitted false court filings to justify guardianship. Access to judicial scrutiny was blocked by sealing proceedings. Independent legal representation was denied to Ms. Hunter. Financial misappropriation included unauthorized use of her funds. Defendants engaged in deceptive communications and isolation tactics. The conspiracy caused substantial harm, including emotional distress and a loss of income. And let's not forget, I'm a mom. Do not ever try to interfere with my relationship with my damn children. And that's what they did. Now, as a mom, we don't care how old our kids are. We want our children. And she had the right to still be a part of her son's life. This is insanity. I can't believe they have her somewhere where she can't have any visitation or communication. Like, this is insane. Even after filing a lawsuit, is she still being confided right now? It's like they've learned nothing. The plaintiffs claimed that specific individuals and financial institutions wrongfully took control of Ms. Hunter's assets without legal justification. This included unauthorized access to her bank accounts and misappropriation of funds. Ms. Hunter had rightful ownership of her personal and financial property. Defendants exercised dominion over her assets without consent. Wells Fargo unlawfully froze her accounts and diverted funds. Yeah, they need a court order to do that. You would have to get a subpoena from a court of law saying to freeze someone's accounts. Like, it makes no sense. And diverted funds. Sorry, moved around money as well without a court order. And they froze the accounts from her without a court order. Bernie Young misappropriated $10,000 from Ms. Hunter's account. Leah Abraham participated in unauthorized financial management. These actions were taken without valid guardianship authority. Breach of duty by professionals and institutions. The text outlines breaches of duty by various professionals, including guardians, financial advisors, and legal representatives who failed to protect Ms. Hunter's interests. Their actions constituted negligence, and professional malpractice. Professionals owed a duty of care to Ms. Hunter. Sabrina Morrissey breached her fiduciary duty as guardian, which also is considered power of attorney. Wells Fargo and Lori Schiller acted with gross negligence. David Pickus failed to safeguard Ms. Hunter's due process rights. Bernie Young mismanaged Ms. Hunter's financial affairs. Dr. Rami Kaminsky disclosed confidential medical information unlawfully because we have HIPAA laws. We have HIPAA laws, people. Oh, Lord. Man, they're making this case so easy. Even if the ex-husband is doing this with some level of ill intent because he just wants some money, they're not making it hard for him. Oh, my God. The whole disclosing of medical information. What the hell? Like, this is going to bite them in the ass, and it's like they don't even care. Negligent hiring and supervision claims. The plaintiffs assert that several organizations are liable for negligent hiring, supervision, or retention of employees who contributed to the unlawful guardianship scheme. This negligence resulted in significant harm to Ms. Hunter. Wells Fargo is liable for Lori Schiller's actions. Bressler, Amory, and Ross PC failed to supervise David Pickus. Debmar did not adequately oversee Bernie Young's conduct. Carter Reed neglected to investigate complaints against Amanda Clears, whoever that is. Each organization's negligence contributed to Ms. Hunter's injuries, violation of privacy, and defamation. That's not going to be hard. That's going to be another easy one. Because, I mean, the court document being unsealed without legal justification, without due process, the disclosing of medical information is a violation of HIPAA privacy laws. That's federal laws as well. Defamation, when you're just, making provably false statements and attacking someone's character. Yeah. The plaintiffs alleged violations of Ms. Hunter's privacy rights and defamation by various defendants. This included unauthorized disclosures of personal info and false statements damaging Mr. Hunter's reputation. Amanda Clears disclosed confidential information to the media. Unauthorized photographs of Ms. Hunter were sold for profit. They had her do a whole thing, a whole show. Defendants made false statements portraying Mr. Hunter negatively. Okay, I guess I would have to read the court document to see what those statements were. These actions caused reputational harm and emotional distress. Declaratory relief and legal remedies sought. Plaintiffs seek declaratory relief to address the alleged violations of Ms. Hunter's constitutional rights and the legality of the guardianship proceedings. They request various forms of relief, including compensatory and punitive damages. Plaintiffs seek a declaration that the guardianship violated Ms. Hunter's rights. They request injunctive relief to restore Ms. Hunter's autonomy. Compensatory damages sought amount to at least $250 million. Good Lord. Oh, man, it's like that Tyler Perry lawsuit. $250 million. Ooh, child. Plaintiffs also seek restitution of misappropriated assets and punitive damages generated using Adobe Acrobat AI assistance. All right. So I'm going to share this tab here so you guys can just see the court documents are here. 121 pages. And I just read the summary to you all. They do have the facts alleged here. They have the jurisdiction and venue noted. They have all of the counts, causes of actions, the count here, violation of due process. And you guys can see with each count, you see whatever the federal or state statutes that's supposed to be cited there, and who it's against, because you have multiple defendants being named. You definitely want to name the defendants that each count is against, that you're alleging each count against. When it's one defendant, naturally is going to be against that one defendant. But every count, each statement of claim that you have in your lawsuit should have some reference of law being violated. Otherwise, how do you prove legal liability, especially in a civil procedure? So you need to have the actual law cited, whether it be the federal or state law. Some statute code somewhere needs to be shown next to the count. I hope that makes sense. It's important that you state your claims accurately. If not, the court could dismiss it on that. Failure to state a claim. And trust me, the defendants, especially if they see you don't, that you're not doing that accurately, they're gonna take advantage of that. Oh, Your Honor, should be denied. They didn't state a claim. They'll do that in a heartbeat. You see count 2 here, violation of free speech and access to courts. But you will see a law supporting that. This is a long filing. You guys see here count 3, unlawful isolation. You still have this federal law, New York constitutional articles cited. So you should have some sort of, that's what I said, federal law, statute. They even cited New York constitutional articles here. It should be next to each count in your statement of claim in a civil procedure. Especially when you're dealing with a federal lawsuit at that. This is going to a federal court of law. You got to be on it. Count 4, y'all see here. 42 USC They got Statute 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, the ADA. So, you know, this helps the court to understand, the laws that are being used to support your statement of claim, and what does those laws cite when it comes to relief. It has to be properly stated. Certain laws outline what type of relief you can seek based on what the claim is for. So every single claim might not result in compensatory damages. You have to read that law to see, okay, what is the type of relief that I can properly request based on this statement of claim and the law that I'm using to substantiate the claim. Does that make sense? So when I read lawsuits, you all, that's, I'm reading it. I have no stake in this game. None. It doesn't benefit me one way or the other. Hopefully she gets justice, right? Because from what I'm reading so far, if they're not, if there's no evidence to really support what they did, a judge unsealing a court docket or allowing medical information to be improperly disclosed, violating HIPAA, failing to give due process, those types of things are just kind of, I don't think they could give a good reasoning to explain that, to get people to be okay with it. So I think those types of allegations are just, when there's sufficient evidence to prove there's due process that was denied, you simply did not get the chance to defend yourself in a court of law, or at least send your attorney to defend, to represent you. And then the attorney was barred. So there are a lot of things that did happen that was just on face value, unlawful and definitely unethical. But when I'm reading these, I'm reading it with impartiality, because personally, it doesn't affect me one way or the other, right? But this is some of the things that the judges look for. You stating a claim, you got to be able to state a claim with a law cited. It's got to be funny. It's how it should be written. So let me go down. I'm going to read the request for relief. Woo, this is a long lawsuit. Yeah, here's another one. Here's another count. And you see law being cited. There you go. There you go. Another one right here. What was that? Fair crediting. Violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Good grief. Okay, I see why. Because they're saying that they violated the FCRA by taking egregious, unlawful, adverse financial actions against her without providing proper notice. Yeah. So they messing up her credit. God. What the hell are they opening up credit accounts? They either close, move funds, they froze her accounts. Look at that. They froze her accounts, probably opened up credit accounts in her name, damaging her credit too. Man, it's so ridiculous, man. You're entitled to a copy of your credit report, at least one free one every year. So they probably didn't give her that. Violation of the Graham Leach Bliley Act. That's a new one. Financial exploitation. Oh, okay. Some of these laws I'm not familiar with, so it's a learning opportunity for me as well. And this is against Wells Fargo and Lori Schiller. So every count that they have here might not be applicable to every defendant that's being named, but when they cite it, when they're given the statement of claim, they're citing exactly what that defendant did and then how they violated the law, thereby establishing legal liability. That's the premise of these lawsuits here. You got to be able to go back to how does the defendant have legal liability, and ensuring that your relief, the requested relief, is proper and appropriate. So of course they have count 9, tortious interference with contractual obligations. Oftentimes we see that in lawsuits when it comes down to the civil complaints. If there's any agreements that were made Tortious interference is basically saying, how does this defendant have some legal liability? And they have a plethora of laws cited in the other counts that could point towards the legal liability for these defendants. So that legal liability of tortious interference could result in various types of compensation, but you got to establish legal liability. And if you don't do that, that particular count or that allegation could be dismissed. So I try to explain these things just on a very base level. I'm not an attorney, y'all. I learned a lot of things too when I'm reading these count 10 breach of third party beneficiary rights. And this is against Sabrina Morrissey. Her allowing people to get her medical information was wild. Another breach of fiduciary duty from all those banks. This is something else. This is the damage that is caused when people take it upon themselves to just do what they want to do and not care about anyone else or their rights or anything. Of course, defamation. I would have cited the code for the state statute for defamation if I were them, but I think it won't be difficult to cite it throughout the statement of claim. Declaratory and injunctive relief, and of course they have pursuant to U.S. Code Statute 2020-01 through 2020-02, and of course federal civil procedure code. So that's how it's done, y'all. All right, prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiffs respectfully request that this court to enter judgment in their favor and against all defendants jointly and severally, and award plaintiffs all relief available under law and equity, including but not limited to declaratory relief, declaration that the initiation and maintenance of the guardianship violated Ms. Hunter's constitutional rights, that the imposition of the guardianship was procedurally and substantially deficient, that the suspension of her power of attorney and exclusion of her chosen legal counsel were unlawful, that all orders issued under these conditions are void, that the unlawful interference with the marital settlement agreement, defamatory statements, and civil conspiracy violated Ms. Hunter's contractual and constitutional rights, that NYAG has a legal and statutory duty to investigate alleged fiduciary and guardianship abuse. So they're basically asking the New York Attorney General to pursue criminal charges. That NYAG's failure to act violates its statutory duties and frustrates the protections intended under New York. And then they have these various laws cited here. They're asking also for injunctive relief, a permanent injunction, enjoining the unlawful suspension of Ms. Hunter's power of attorney, ordering Ms. Hunter's immediate release from involuntary confinement, prohibiting any further interference by defendants with Ms. Hunter's right to counsel, property, speech, and family access. That's crazy. I cannot imagine someone telling me I can't see my son. No, I have two boys, so man, that's got to hurt even more. Enjoining defendants from any further interference with the marital settlement agreement between Ms. Hunter and Mr. Hunter. I mean, seriously, the son is now graduated. I'm sure they're gonna ask for compensation so that she can go back to pay off his education and apartment and all of that. But as far as his alimony and all that other stuff, if I were her, I'd be like, thanks for filing this for me, but nah, that's a no. Go get a job. That's just me. Terminating, so I will go get that changed, by the way. Terminating Sabrina Morrissey access to Ms. Hunter's financial accounts to prevent defendants from using Ms. Hunter's assets to defend Sabrina Morrissey's interest in this matter. So yeah, let's not allow her to use Ms. Hunter's money to hire an attorney to represent her in this case. Yeah. Ordering that Sabrina Morrissey's appointment as guardian be terminated effective immediately, and that a new impartial and unbiased guardian be appointed to oversee Ms. Hunter's affairs. Directing the unsealing and full production of the complete guardianship file of Wendy J. Williams Hunter, including but not limited to all court filings, medical evaluations. I'm trying to read this as I'm going along so I can understand what I just. They wanted the unsealing. Okay. Including but not limited to all court filings, medical evaluations, financial reports, hearing transcripts, and communications by or between court appointed fiduciaries, attorneys, and financial institutions pursuant to plaintiffs' due process rights under the 14th Amendment, and the public interest in preventing fraud, abuse, and concealment in quasi judicial proceedings involving fundamental liberty and property rights. And I, I would assume they would want this stuff to be sealed, not unsealed. Okay. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Directing the unsealing and full production. Wouldn't they want it sealed? Okay. Requiring a full forensic accounting and return of all misappropriated property, inclusive of all assets, when and where located, spent, depleted, and or earned, since the time that Lori Schiller became Ms. Hunter's financial advisor in or around 2015. We are in the year of our Lord 2025. They want to go back 10 years. My Lord. Including the calculator and payment of arrears owed to Mr. Hunter under the marital settlement agreement. So he's definitely doing this to get his money back, y'all. Oh, Lord. Do you have to go in trying to seek your part of marital settlement agreement? You realize it's 10 years later. And she's definitely going to cut his ass off. Because this is insane. The child is an adult now and independent. He's graduated from college, so he really won't have a leg to stand on after this. This is ridiculous. Grant recusal request. Recuse Judge Lisa Sokoloff. I agree to that. This judge should not only be recused, but also investigated. She definitely needs to have an inquiry opened against her with the JQC. But recuse Judge Lisa Sokoloff as the presiding court official over the guardianship proceeding. Grant next friend motion. Issue an order allowing plaintiff Kelvin Hunter's next friend motion to proceed. A separate ex parte motion for which has been filed herewith. Compensatory damages for financial loss, reputational damages, emotional distress, reputational harm, legal expense, and deprivation of liberty, in an amount to be determined at trial, but in no event less than $250 million. $250 million. Y'all, I'll take 100,000 at this point. For whatever reason. Yeah. 100,000. Because it just seems to be something people are just asking for lately. Give me $100,000, y'all. Oh, for fuck's sake. All right. Oh, God. I would probably be asking for upwards of the same amount, especially if they don't know exactly how much has been frozen, moved to different accounts, if there have been some lines of credit opened in her name, bills unpaid, her son was evicted. I don't know how much of an educational expense hit that he took. Was he able to still, pay for college tuition and those types of things? So yeah, just for pissing me off and giving me a headache. $250 million. Let's not forget the toll on her being isolated from her family, visitation, custody, communication, all that being cut off out of nowhere. It is, oh man. For that alone, yes, I want $250 million. And that judge can kick rocks. $20 million per year in earnings, her $80 million estate, her $4 million condo, personal goods in excess of $10 million, and severe reputational harm. Yeah, this is something else. For severance payments owed under the marital settlement agreement, including lost income and associated penalties or fees incurred, and damages. Was he working? Lost income? Is he working? I thought the ex-husband didn't have a job. It's just, is he working? When did the ex-husband get a job again? Shabu. Oh yeah, y'all. Make sure. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, there, because I forget to say this. Make sure you check out the video descriptions and tags on the Dr. Squatch products. Go buy some soap and deodorant and lotion and stuff for you. You know, whoever uses Dr. Squatch products. I mean, they've sent product samples here, right? And we did an unboxing, and the soap smells so good, so good, and it gets you clean. Gets you clean. Make sure you use some lotion too. Oh man. So I don't recall seeing where the ex-husband had a job to even request loss of income as relief, but whatever. He said he's asking for alimony. So he used alimony to fund his life, but he has a child where he probably should be working and making money to take care of the other child, because that's not Wendy Williams, responsibility at all. Not at all. Not even a little bit. So she's definitely going to get that change. You're like, oh, hell, our son is graduating from college now? Nope. Done paying you alimony, bro. Go get a job. Get a job, Kevin and Hunter, ex-husband. Wait, is that senior? Father and son has the same name? And associated penalties or fees incurred and damages for intentional infliction of emotional distress and reputational injury, restitution, and disgorgement. Yeah, because these businesses, allow all this to happen. Full return of assets and property wrongfully taken or managed, and disgorgement of all unlawful profits. So if they made any money, like the movie, the shows, and all of that's been listed as defendants, those production companies, they made any money from all of this, they want that money back. Punitive damages against all defendants in their personal capacities to punish conduct that was willful, malicious, fraudulent, and in reckless disregard of plaintiff's rights. I'm assuming that all the defendants are listed in their individual and professional capacities. Statutory damages. All these laws they broke. Here's a statutory damages as provided under all these laws that they broke like hell with no regard for no one else. There you go. Treble damages as provided under RICO. So this is a specific damage that can be requested under this specific allegation. So if you look under the RICO Act, this is one of the relief for damages that can be requested. That's why I said you have to be careful when you're writing these out to ensure that you're requesting the correct relief based on what the law provides. All right. Attorney's fees and costs under 42 U.S.C. Statute 1988 and other applicable statutes. Pre and post judgment interest as allowed by law. Further relief. Such other relief as this court deems just, proper, and equitable. Dated June 17, 2025. Yes, Lord. LaShawn Thomas, Miami Entertainment Law Group. Celeste N. McCaw. Man, these attorneys, they put this together. This was a good complaint here. Very good complaint. And then, of course, the declaration statement is all here as well. Y'all, 122 pages. Wendy Williams said, I'm tired of y'all bitches. I want my life back. It's I have to try to watch pull up a video on her. Hold on. Oh man. We'll end this on her. Hold on. Okay, so I see the video of her passing out. Because like I said, I don't really watch a show like this. So let me pull this up. Ooh, child. Trouble. Is this a new legal word? Yeah. No, this is one that's kind of more so consolidated to the allegation of RICO itself. So yeah, it's appropriate to request that relief when you have allegation of RICO in this lawsuit. I think the New York Attorney General is going to have to file some sort of you know, criminal charges against these people, because some of the stuff that they've done is borderline criminal in my opinion, based on what I've read. But so I'm going to show this video. It's not a long clip. It's like 17 seconds. Where she passes out on television. And she was dressed like the Statue of Liberty. Her hair was even green. All right, let's watch this right here.
Costume contest. We do it every year, so it was a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.
Oh, oh boy. That was a hard land. Oh my God. That was a hard land. Sweet Jesus. Oh my God. That was a hard landing. All right, man. I just wanted to see that because like I said, I don't watch a show or anything. And then she looked terrified. She looked really scared. Like just like what's happening to me, and she just looked really, really terrified. Omarosa versus Wendy Williams 2008 interview. I'll have to watch that separately, y'all. That was something else. That was a little scary seeing that, because she definitely looked terrified herself. Who, man? All right, y'all. 2 hours in, I'm going to upload the full lawsuit. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I want to do a members only live this evening. I'm quite frankly, I'm gonna be honest, I'm exhausted, y'all. I had to do the Wendy Williams one. But I'm exhausted. I literally, if you guys are okay with that, we can do our members only tomorrow, because I said the last time too, I would allow Foxy up on the platform, and I have not been able to talk with her as well. So I want to make sure I do that, do that part right. And give her an opportunity to come up on the platform and the members only live. So let me get with her and schedule the members only live. Let her know so she can come on up and definitely share information with us in the members only live stream that I would love to sit back and hear. And in the meantime, I am going to do a couple recorded videos. They're not going to be long. Just some content things I wanted to catch up on. You guys know we're diving into the series with Nature Boy and Eligio Bishop. He's a cult leader. Bottom line. And then, of course, I'm still posting clips on my second channel, Tommy G Raw and Real. Make sure you all check that out. Tomorrow's good with me. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for tuning in. That was scary to see with her passing out. She just looked terrified. So I pray that you guys stay safe and in good health. I try my best to, I enjoy the members only live, and I try my best to give you guys a heads up. So I'm going to schedule it for tomorrow and give Foxy a heads up as well, so that she can be able to come up and hang out with us after we check out the last part of Random News. We're going to get a good laugh in, all right? But thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. Be on the lookout for the videos that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to premiere it tomorrow. I want you guys to have a good evening. Enjoy your time with your friends and family. Stay cool, like I will be. I'm hot and tired. All right. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces. Hit the like button on the way out.